March 9th meeting of the Zionsville Board of Parks and Recreation. I want to thank you all for being here. We'll begin with the call to order, which we are in the middle of, and also the roll call. We have a quorum here. We expect that a few board members are still to join us, but we'll go ahead and get it underway. The Vice President, Jill Pack.
Here.
John Selowitz.
Here.
And Cassidy.
Here.
We are missing, well, Sarah Moore is coming in the door right now, I believe. Hello, Sarah. Sarah Moore is here. And we expect John Wollenberg will show up soon, and Aaron Bidwell will not be joining us tonight. So the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for February 9th. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns?
No.
Then do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Tim Cassidy moves to approve the minutes of our February 9th meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
John Selowitz seconds. Let's take a roll call vote. Jill Pack.
Aye.
John Selowitz.
Aye.
Sarah.
Aye.
Tim Cassidy.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Next item on our agenda is public presentations. And we have Mr. Wollenberg in the audience or in the room now. Great. Let the record show John Wollenberg is here as we begin the public presentations. Does anybody have anything that they would like to bring before the board tonight? Going once, going twice. All right, then we will move on to staff reports, and we'll begin that with our superintendent, Jared Logston. Jared?
Thank you, John. I do have one item to add to tonight's agenda. I'd like to add a shelter reservation request under new business. We can get to that when we get there. From the superintendent staff report, I just want to highlight and thank the Department of Public Works who have been assisting out at our Heritage Trail Park garden plots. So for the past week, they've been assisting with moving some dirt, laying stone, and now they begin to pour the initial pad that is going to be the future foundation of our accessible garden. So the pad is being poured right now just to the left of the existing garden plots if you're staring at them from the parking lot. And we are working with a scout for her Eagle project. She'll be placing 6 raised garden beds for next season. So we're excited to bring that into our park system.
Are the pads for raised beds or for the hoop house?
Both. So the pad will serve as the raised beds, and then also the hoop house will be placed at a later date. So. And also want to invite Tricia McCollum of REA up here to discuss the Carpenter Nature Preserve project a little bit further. So for the past few months, the department has been working with the Carpenters and REA on the master planning of the site. We are reaching the final stages of that. A first conceptual concept has been presented, and we are here to welcome public input. So I will hand it over to Tricia to talk about the website.
There it goes. Give it a second, see if it pops up there. I just wanted to kind of introduce you to the website. Okay. So this is for our input, just to share the concept with the public and get some input from them. So you can see from the top, there's tabs across there to tell them a little bit about what the project is about, and the history of how we got where we are. We always have this contact us, so we're sure that people can reach out to us and let us know what they think or if they've got questions. The big one really here is going to be the Explore, which will let people explore the master plan. And I don't know how to do this without a mouse, so we're going to see here. I could scroll down. 2 fingers. Yeah, you scroll down. I'll let Jared try. How's that? It'll let people explore the master plan. So we scroll down, you can see the whole plan there with the labels on it, but then off to the right, people will be able to click and then see some more information where we kind of zoom in on the plan. With each of them, there's always instructions at the top on what you can do. It kind of gives them an idea of where you are in the overall plan. And then you go down to the renderings that give more detail. And the precedent images are the example pictures there off to the right with each of them. But we've gone through the whole site and just kind of told them a little bit more about the idea of what, we're planning for the master plan, what's included, again, with some details. And we divided them up into the major features just to kind of organize and guide that conversation. Then after they explore all the different features with the plan itself, there's you have to remember the get involved. It's essentially those questions that we had talked about, where again, it gives them instructions, hey, thank you for taking time to fill this out and let us know your opinions. If you need to go back and look at the master plan, it tells them how to do that. But then we've got the questions that we talked about for people to be able to give us some opinions, tell us what they like, tell us if there was something that they would like to see that we didn't include. And again, there's always that general contact us. If someone doesn't want to fill all this out, they can always reach out to Jared or I or John. Your information's on there too. Or just fill out the comment box. So just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of the website and how we're doing that virtual outreach. Amanda will take care of getting the word out. So we're sure that everybody sees the website and as many people as we can has, comes to the website and provides their input. Any questions on that?
Is it live now?
It is. Yeah.
Have we gotten any feedback?
CarpenterNaturePreserve.com.
Yeah.
If you want
Have we gotten any feedback yet?
We have not.
Okay.
No. Just, I think mostly because we haven't advertised it.
Okay.
But yeah, it is CarpenterNaturePreserve.com, just all one word. So feel free to look at it and go ahead and fill out the survey, and everybody let them know about it.
Yeah, it looks nice. Thank you.
All right, and with that, I would turn it over to our golf course manager, Mike Wall, for an update on the course.
How you doing? Yeah, so the golf course. I think people, maybe Trish will talk about the cart pass in the future, but as far as the golf course right now, all we've been really doing is kind of doing some renovation to the clubhouse right now. The lower bowl was pretty outdated, green. So we put new lights in, fire alarms, replaced the outlets, put some new bulletin boards up there that look a little bit more modern, some actual canvas pictures of the golf course. So just to make it a little bit more fresh, inviting for our golfers when they come back out in the season. And what I'm proposing also is that we repaint the outside of the golf or the clubhouse. What I want to do is paint it alabaster white with black trim. And I'm not sure. So this would be this would not actually be the course, but this would be what it would look like. The cost to, for the paint would be about $600 to $900 to replace the 5 broken windows that we have on the second floor. It's about $1,000 to $1,500. And then I'd like to get a new sign on the side of the building with the Zionsville Golf Course logo. That would be about $500 to $700. So the total cost for this sprucing up of the exterior of the clubhouse would be $2,100 to $3,100. And we'd have to, now that we have the time, all we have to do is get temperatures overnight to remain above 37. And it would take about a week to paint. And I think it would just send a message. Every year we always do something at the golf course. 1 year we were painting bathrooms. 1 year we got the new counter that was donated by Traders Point. So every year we always try to do something. And the golfers down there, they don't ask for much, but they appreciate what we've done for them and what we've given them. So I think this investment of $2,100 to $3,100 would just be, just an added benefit. I mean, just wanted to kind of, that's what we're doing now, amongst other things, down at the golf shop. So I'm kind of getting back into it right now. So, but yeah.
I think that little things mean a lot, and little things like that will mean a lot to people. And the big thing is the cart paths, which will mean a lot too. So I think that between those two things, it'll be a nice start to the season this year. I think people will appreciate it too.
Yeah, no, last year we had the new carts. This year will be the new cart pass. So it's just, doing stuff to keep up and make everyone feel appreciated, that we appreciate our customers. Obviously with inflation going up, gas prices going up, it's going to be a little bit more difficult this year, but just showing the appreciation that we care about our clients, and I think goes a long way. So, yeah.
Well, quick questions. What's the average opening date for the course in past?
Well,
years?
last year we opened
March 15th?
like March 22nd. On the season passes, and we've always said March 15th to November 15th. The last 3 years that I've been here, it's been right between March 17th and 22nd. So, well, I shouldn't say that. In 2020, we did not open until May 24th because of COVID.
Oh, right.
Did you say 5 broken windows?
Do we have 5 broken windows?
Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah.
What caused that?
Uh,
Oh,
well, I mean, it's just more neglect. I mean,
yeah.
because it's
no.
not necessarily on the side of the third hole that
Okay.
people slice into. It's in the front of the clubhouse. I mean, it's just that clubhouse has been neglected for years upon years upon years, and
Okay.
the rats don't really fix the work. So yeah, the second floor is just pretty much a shell,
Hmm.
and yeah, there's 5 broken windows. We did last year get a new garage door, which was really, really nice. It's actually got a door opener, and we don't have to, slam the door, the lock, to get it locked every night. So that's really nice. So yeah, I think we do have the 5 broken windows.
Yeah, I think fixing that's a great idea. And it looks nice, the white with the black trim.
Yeah, so the shot is actually from a course that I was at over the weekend down in Kentucky, but I saw it and I was like, well, that's what we're shooting for. So,
Yeah.
So I've got somebody that's willing to paint, loves to paint. Just figure, while we have the time now, might as well do it. Won't be any cars in the parking lot for a little while, so we don't have to worry about spotting up cars. So yeah.
And I saw Duke out there yesterday picking up their equipment, so they're done with their project along the
Yeah,
8th and 9th holes.
yeah, Duke is done. They've picked up the matting along everywhere, 8th, 9th hole, along the homes. Yeah, so yeah.
So now we have to wait for the water to sink back into the ground and the cart paths to get completed, and we're good to go.
Yeah, so we've purchased a couple more pumps. We've got pumps going now, but we purchased more pumps, bigger pumps, in an effort to, get the water off the course as fast as possible. Yeah.
That time of year, it's always a fight to get
Yeah,
the water off the course.
Yeah, with 2 inches of rain on Saturday night, that was not really a welcome sight, but it's March. It could potentially, who knows? I mean, Eagle Creek crested at 10.6 feet Monday morning. So yeah, it's March and April down at Zionsville Golf Course, and in typical years, we just play through it. This year, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because we can't play through it. We gotta pray for a miracle, honestly, that it's going to that it doesn't rain between now and May. So,
Well, glad you're back and engaged.
yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Mike? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have.
No.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, next is our Director of Maintenance, Greg Davidson, for the update from his report.
Good evening, everybody. I have a pretty short report, since February is pretty short. Like everybody else, we did really feel the effects of COVID with our staffing in February. Lost some man hours there. We spent a lot of time doing snow and ice removal. Did find some time to get out on the rail trail though and deal with some hazard trees that we've been wanting to get taken care of. And we also started working on do some invasive pear tree removal on the rail trail also. And then additionally to that, we're happy that we finally got the ice rink completely out of Mulberry, so we can start putting that back together and regain our parking lot for the upcoming season. But that's about all I have for maintenance this month for February.
Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, our Director of Recreation Services, Mindy Murdoch.
My career wasn't as quiet, but yeah, we had a pretty good February, even though weather was also not on our side. 882 people walked through Zionsville Nature Center. Even though with the weather, we were closed for 2 days because of the snow, just not able to get staff in. I know the library is closed as well on those. We also had to cancel several programs for February because of either the weather that was going on or icy trail conditions that it was just not safe to have the public out. We didn't want anyone falling and hurting themselves, nor did I want my staff to get hurt. Really, the only thing going on in February is, our big one was we had the new Zionsville schools February break. So that was a new one to see how that impacted the Nature Center. And we actually did very well. We had programs almost every day that were all well attended. And we had about 340 people of that 800 came during that break week. So we were pretty busy for the Nature Center itself. I think it kind of surprised people. So a lot of people didn't plan on what they should be doing for February break at the schools. A couple other things. One of my staff, Sarah Stewart, she did attend Project Wild training. So that's another one under her belt. She's looking forward to using that, not just in a lot of the scout programming she's starting to do, but also with upcoming summer camps. And then I passed my Certified Park and Rec Professional exam. So now I am CPRP for the department itself.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. You get letters after your name now?
I do have more
Awesome.
letters after my
Awesome.
name.
That's congratulations. That's
yeah, and then we also held kind of our first kind of staff-wide training. So I was able to pull Jared over and Greg and his team, and we did a natural resource training with the staff, the natural staff as well, on common Zionsville birds. So they got to see kind of what the naturalists have to do on a routine basis, but we'll plan out for about every other month or so throughout the month, different topics. So the next one we're planning on doing in April will be on wildflowers, but just to kind of give an overall view, not just for my staff, but for the maintenance when they're out there. So if they see some things, they kind of know what some things are in our parks. And then in addition to that, a lot of our focus, at least in the parks office, not so much the Nature Center, has been on our upcoming events. We've got quite a number planned for the month or for the year actually, and they are going to start coming here pretty rapid and pretty fast, with the first one being Step into Spring, the walking spree that starts in April, on April 1st. And then we've got Green Fest, which will be on Saturday, April 23rd here at Town Hall. We're taking over pretty much all of Town Hall to have the event. And then we have Life of Lincoln, which will be at Lincoln Park on May 1st, which will have a live enactment of Lincoln's life. So those are just a few coming up.
awesome. Do we have Lincoln already contracted to come out?
Lincoln is booked, yes.
Nice.
And he
Nice.
will be walking around before and after his talk if you want to get a selfie.
Great. Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Mindy.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Jared, before we go to the attorney report?
That is all from staff reports.
Okay, well, let's let Amy have a chance to give us an attorney report.
Okay, sure. Jared and I have been working pretty closely together over the past month, particularly with regard to reviewing some agreements, some of which are on your agenda for tonight, some of which you'll see on your agenda next month. Jared and I have also been working on the use agreement for Mulberry Fields with the different various organizations in town and working through some insurance questions regarding that. That's about finalized. I think you expect, yeah, they'll be signing those here soon. I've been working with Mindy on finalizing an agreement for the caterers for Barnes and Brews. She was interested in getting a template agreement that she could use for all of the caterers. So we developed that and she has that ready to go. And a couple other things that are just kind of in the works. I'm talking with a fiber optics company who's interested in asking the board for an easement to bury some fiber optic cable under the rail trail to serve the high school. It's not quite ready yet with all the details. We're waiting for them to get us a proposal. They have a document now that they're redlining and they're going to be sending it back to me. So as soon as I get that, I'll distribute it to all of you. And I would anticipate that they'll be ready to present, or I'll present, you know, on their behalf. Everything will be wrapped up by next month. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It's been in the works for quite a long time.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to make that point that this is, we've talked about this before, but there's been some changes in the staffing at the company. So there's
Yes.
been a bit of a delay, but this isn't any different than what we've talked before about the fiber optic line. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, yeah, that's great. That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, ready to move on to new business. Jared?
All right, new business. So the first item that was added this evening is the shelter reservation request. The Indiana Academy of Science, Math, and Humanities, class of 1992, would like to utilize 2 shelters at Mulberry Fields for their July 23rd reunion gathering. So about 100 adults out at the site just to utilize 2 structures for the afternoon. So that normally would fall within the shelter reservation program, but they've also requested to raise funds for the Indiana Academy Parents Organization, which is a nonprofit that supports the Indiana Academy. So being a fundraising event with a nonprofit involved, I wanted to discuss that with the park board tonight and get the affirmative before completing that shelter reservation. So this group, which is the class of 1992, is not the nonprofit themselves, but they are fundraising on behalf of the nonprofit. So what they'll be doing is selling off items that are branded with the academy and then using those funds as a donation to the parents organization. So
who are the group? These are alums from?
the Indiana Academy of Science, Math, and Humanities. It's right next door to Ball State. So this must be a nice location for them all to gather.
Science High School, or?
I believe it's more of an accelerated high school. We had a student that jumped a couple grades, and then the next year he was over in that academy. So I think that's what they specialize in, accelerating those youth.
They got it. And then they're raising money again for whom?
To donate to the parents organization that supports activities, events, and things for those students while they're away from home at this academy. So they would like to sell essentially some swag to raise a couple dollars to donate to that parents group during their reservation.
I'm not usually somebody that believes in the slippery slope. However, do we have some assurances that this is a real charity and that the money they raise is actually going to go to the charity? I mean, is there a way that we can make sure of that before we give our approval?
Yeah, I was able to confirm that it is a 501c3 nonprofit. But perhaps we explore an affidavit that they attach with their application stating that the funds raised will be donated to that organization.
Yeah. Is that
Is this
normal and custom?
organization-
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, is this organization within their group that's attending? Like, it's not going to the general public, right?
Correct. So the class of 92 is raising funds for the parents organization that supports those programs for the students that actually live at the academy.
So it makes sense that the people that are probably purchasing money for that organization are aware of that organization then.
Yeah, I think they were directly impacted while they were there in 92. So they're gathering and to give back.
I guess my question would be for Amy, is it reasonable and customary to ask for some sort of assurance that the money raised is actually going to go to this charity?
Yes, I think that that's reasonable to ask for sure. And if it's since they are in fact a nonprofit corporation, they would have a board that we could ask for a resolution or some minutes from their board of the 501c3 showing acceptance of
Okay.
these funds.
So with the park board approval, I will work with Amy to determine that affidavit and the supporting documentation required to approve this shelter reservation.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the shelter reservation with the attachment that we're going to get an affidavit showing that the money raised actually goes to the charity it's raised for?
Real quick, do we ask for an affidavit when we have had this before?
I don't know that we've ever had a group fundraising for a nonprofit. We've had nonprofits fundraise within the parks historically.
We've had nonprofits rent the shelters, but not fundraise for.
Correct. Yep.
So it's a little bit outside of what, got it.
Any more?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but remember, there are nonprofits, and then there are nonprofits who are qualified under the Internal Revenue Code as 501c3 worthy. So that's a much higher standard to me. And I can't,
This group is.
I seem to recall this has been an issue before. So every nonprofit is,
Yeah.
just be a little bit wary.
Does anybody have any other comments?
So this is the first time that anybody's asked to do this then?
Specifically, a group that's not the nonprofit to fundraise for a nonprofit.
Okay, and if it was just a nonprofit fundraising for themselves, we let them use it.
There is a policy that fundraising activities for nonprofits go before the park board.
Okay,
and
so
we
that's
approve
why we're
those.
doing this. Okay.
If there's nothing else, does anybody have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the request subject to obtaining an affidavit that the group intends to donate to a 501c3 organization, and that they provide some sort of confirmation from that 501c3 that they are looking to receive money from the alumni group.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, let's take a vote. Jill Pack,
Aye.
John Wallenberg,
Aye.
John Salowitz,
Aye.
Sarah Moore,
Aye.
Tim Cassidy,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. All right, Jared, next item.
All right, the 5-year master plan recommendation. So 2020, or our current master plan is from 2018 to 2022. So this is the year in which we work with a new consultant to provide a community engagement opportunity to learn from the community what exactly they want to see in our parks. So this is an update to our park infrastructure and the priorities, the wish list, the wants of the community that they want to see inside their park system. So we did release an RFP in January requesting services for master planning according to the DNR standards. So the DNR actually set expectations for these master planning documents, and those documents need to be adopted by the town in order for that town to be eligible for grant funding in the future. So this is all part of just the nature of park systems within Indiana. And we're excited to begin this process again. And beyond the normal scope of the master planning process, we're also looking at conducting accessibility audits of our park system, looking at land acquisition strategies for natural corridors and habitats that we should take a closer look at and conserving, and also staffing and operations analysis to understand what kind of staffing levels we need to support the level of service that we've been providing the community as we, as a park system, continue to grow. So of that RFP, 4 firms responded. And of those 4, we actually had 2 interviews with finalists conducted today. So on that review panel was John Stair, Tim Cassidy, Jill Pack, and myself. And as we listened to the 2 firms, they both described very unique strategies to ending at the same result of this master planning document. So after we reviewed those interviews, we deliberated and determined that REA was the most qualified firm to lead us in that new master planning process. So tonight, I would like to request we enter into an agreement with REA for master planning services. That will include the accessibility audit, the land acquisition strategy, and the maintenance and operations analysis within that. So the total cost for that project will be $96,484. The process will begin upon approval and go throughout the end of the year, conducting several public engagement opportunities so that we can be sure we're getting the most accurate information from our community. So with your approval tonight, I'd like to request entering into that agreement, as well as requesting an additional appropriation from town council to cover this project.
Do have a question. So I know, so last year we spent a good chunk of money on some polling the public on, is that information being used for part of this as well too?
Absolutely. So within the RFP, the selected firm was to review the pedestrian plan from 2016, the current master plan, as well as our 2021 program plan that you're referencing. So
Okay.
all of those documents will influence kind of the foundation, and then ultimately what the public provides will kind of guide that message moving forward.
And I'd like to add, before we take up this resolution, that Tim and Jill have spent a lot of hours on this and going through all these proposals. And I don't know, Jill, if you want to talk about what REA brings to this. It's not like this is a rubber stamp because we do a lot of work with REA. They've come up with a lot of ideas and a lot of plans to really make this meaningful, more meaningful than any 5-year plan we've had before.
Yeah, one of the, excuse me, one of the biggest things is that they look at this as not just an update to the last 5-year plan, which was an update of the 5-year plan before, but really a wholesale new plan where they start reviewing all the past documents, but adding in all the additional things that we requested, like the accessibility audit and the land acquisition strategy and plans. They do have a great deal of, I think, love for this town and our park system, and we all felt that they were the ones that we all agree upon that were the best for this job.
Tim?
Yeah, Jared, thank you for a really nice RFP, a request for proposal, where you've thrown down the gauntlet for the prospective consultants regarding accessibility or programs, levels of service, staffing. So this makes it, you really defined very well what we wanted, and this is something new and bigger over what we've had before. And thank you, our REA, for not being complacent and for jumping at that chance and reading it correctly and interpreting what we want and desire. So I'm looking forward to seeing the process and the product.
And this will include public meetings and public outreach throughout the year. So there'll be a chance for everybody to get engaged in it as it moves forward. And as part of the RFP, they are going to deliver us a plan by November, correct? That we'll be able to vote on in December, and we'll have it all done at that point. It will be finished by the end of this year. So I think that they're going to do a great job. I really do. So with that all in mind, anybody else have any other comments? Do I have a motion to accept REA as the company that will carry out our 5-year master planning?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to, subject to town council funding approval, that we accept the proposal to our RFP of Rundell Ernstberger and Associates for putting together our new 5-year plan.
Tim Cassidy makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jill Pack seconds. Let's take a vote. Jill Pack.
Aye.
John Wallenberg.
Aye.
John Salowitz.
Aye.
Sarah Moore.
Aye.
Tim Cassidy.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. All right, Jared.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the rail trail widening construction bid. So due to the Next Level Trails Grant Award in 2021, we were gifted a grant opportunity of 1.8 million approximately, which allowed us to free up some of our allocated bond dollars that will go to trails and other projects. Specifically, that bond was issued to complete the rail trail northern and southern expansion. So that provides a unique opportunity to look at the existing rail trail and potentially widen that corridor to match the new northern and southern expansions. So due to the timing of delays and development, we've had the opportunity to not only look at that rail trail widening project, but also lump in the southern trailhead and the northern expansion beyond Heritage Trail Park in with that project and develop an economy of scales and get the most competitive bid we can for that. In addition to those trail projects, we would also like to include a pickleball project out at Mulberry Fields to again take advantage of that large project size and using those larger economy of scale units for the concrete and asphalt work with that. Additionally, within that package is an accessible walking loop at Heritage Trail Dog Park, as well as an accessible route from Lions Park, their pathway to our tennis court and pickleball court. So I know you don't have the construction documents before you tonight. They're still being finalized, and we're hoping that those will be ready by Friday or early next week. So tonight I'm requesting that upon review from the park board, that we enter to advertise this project to the community with a posting date of March 22nd and again on 29th, with a scheduled bid opening of April 20th, at which point I'd like to request a special meeting on the 20th to award that evening and get that project rolling early May. So happy to answer any questions that might be related to this massive project.
So we have seen what have we seen construction drawings of any of this?
Have we issued the northern or southern trailhead?
So- So south trailhead, north, haven't we?
This package that you'll get
Yeah.
is going to this package that you will get is going to be large. There's lots of drawings because it does have all those projects in one. So you won't see the north separated out. It'll be incorporated with, the widening and the trailhead. They'll all be there together in one set.
So we've talked in depth about which of the widening projects we felt was most cost effective. We've seen the trailhead construction drawings. We've seen the south expansion drawings, but we've not seen north nor some of the smaller add-ons.
Right.
Well, we have the pickleball
And
is in our document here, so.
The plans were?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, for a grant application. Yep.
Mhm.
So there is the conceptual layout of the pickleball courts that was included in the packet. And then the other two are just looped paths to get to those destinations.
Obviously, there's a great interest in pickleball courts. But I think that, Jared, you should make the point that this pickleball court area at Mulberry Fields will provide other opportunities too at different times of the year.
Absolutely. So we are looking at this pickleball project with fences that can be pulled up from their sleeves, and we can actually utilize that flat surface for the Winterfest ice rink as well. So that gets us out of the parking lot, allowing us to free up those spaces, as well as using the platform that we built in the previous year to build out the event a little and get people out of the mud. So ultimately looking at having a foundation where we can actually utilize the fence and keep that to separate the ice rink from the chiller and hide that behind the scenes, as well as secure that maintenance portion of the rink and save on renting a fence every year as well. So just trying to continue to find ways that we can be more efficient with our Winterfest operations as well as our park amenities.
And we'll get a bigger rink. There'll be more room for a larger ice surface as well.
Yep, and we'll talk about that more next month.
Total maintenance. So I'm certainly, so I'm positive about combining these projects, trying to get critical scale. Just thinking that half a step ahead for REA's design contract for the widening, I do recall that there was contract administration included in that. Now that we've combined everything, is Do we have contract administration covered for all of this? Each different project.
Yeah.
So REA has contracted with us already to do contract administration for all of this that we will vote on.
And just to go into a little bit further detail, Tricia and I are still working out some of the fine print of kind of the plan. But the goal is to satisfy the grant requirements with the northern expansion and the southern trailhead first, as well as the pickleball courts in that package. And then once those reach a certain point of completion, we'll begin the widening. So making sure that we get our grant work done prior to the expiration of the grant. And also with that timeline, we would be able to open up the northern expansion as well as our southern expansion that would already be open and provide those two segments of rail trail while we work on the existing middle.
Does the grant money allow for doing the pickleball work?
So the grant money is only for the northern expansion and the southern trailhead. So truly, we're just taking advantage of the opportunity to bundle all these, and we will line by line invoice each one separately to make sure we're satisfying the grant while using other funds to pay for the other projects.
Yeah.
It's the bond money, which was for pathways in general. Yeah.
Yeah. And as you saw in the packet, there are some grant opportunities too for some of these projects.
Right.
So which will help.
ARP.
Grant dollars to the extension and the trailhead, bond dollars to the widening, and then utilizing our park improvement funds for the pickleball court.
I think it's really smart to bundle all these things together. I mean, calling it the rail trail widening construction project is probably a misnomer, but we need to know that it includes all these other things that are going to be real enhancements to the park. So I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad that, you know, we're able to do it, or hopefully able to do it. So do I have a motion or anything else? Anybody else comments? Do we have a motion then to approve?
Subject to
review.
Each member's review and approval of the construction design documents. I
Right.
move that we approve putting out for bid what we'll colloquially call the rail trail widening project, but which, as Jared has detailed, includes the trailhead facility, the south extension, the north extension, the widening, the pickleball court, and the 2 or 3 other smaller path projects detail.
One correction, take the southern expansion out of that because that's currently going on, but everything else you said.
Sorry. Trailhead only on the south.
All right, we have a motion from Tim Cassidy. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
John Salowitz seconds. Let's take a vote. Jill Pack,
Aye.
John Wollenberg,
Aye.
John Salowitz,
Aye.
Sarah Moore,
Aye.
Tim Cassidy,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. All right, Jared, moving on.
Hey, real quick, Jared, could you tell me the timeline you're shooting for again on that?
So hoping to issue the notice to proceed by May 1st. We haven't determined what the length would be for that first phase of the northern, southern trailhead and pickleball courts. But I believe the overall project timeline was February 2023, knowing that February is not really conducive to doing too much asphalt pavement. We'll explore that true timeline, but that is what it's beginning with. Thanks.
We'll receive drawings when, and when should we give you our approval?
Give some
And we
weekend
should give
reading.
you a response on Friday. When did you want to advertise?
The advertisement would be on March 22nd. And then again on March 29th.
And then when's the special meeting?
That would be on April 20th. So which would also be the day of the bid opening. So we'll open, find the lowest price, most responsible contractor, and then have a special meeting to address that with you all. That is the week after our April park board meeting for reference, so the third Wednesday.
You want to go ahead and set that now? Set a time for that now? That special meeting?
7 p.m. Sound good?
Does anybody have any concerns about that?
April 22nd.
April 20th.
April 20th at 7 o'clock. Special meeting of the Parks Board in this room.
I might have a conflict,
Yeah, there's a chance, but
potential conflict.
Okay.
same here,
I'll let you know.
but I'm out of town Friday and that 19th into the 20th. I'm not too sure I'll be back, but I'll try to be back in time.
Sarah?
I'm actually out of town the 18th and 19th too, and I'm not sure if I'll be back, but
Okay, so that leaves us with a less than a quorum.
Would a hybrid meeting work?
Amy, would a hybrid meeting work?
we have to have more than half of the members present.
You have to have a quorum, yes,
Yeah.
present now that the
Yeah, I
emergency's over. Yes.
I don't think we could have half of the members present. Is there another date?
Calendar's open, so whatever works for you all. We could try the 21st, that Thursday. If
Does
Thursday,
the 21st look for everybody?
Good.
I'm here.
I have a board meeting for my library.
Yeah, I'm a hard no on the 21st.
Julie, you in?
I should be fine.
John?
Yes.
I would be and you would be. So that's a quorum.
10
And,
minutes, that's all I need.
We can get your input otherwise, and we'll carry forth your input in the meeting. So we'll make that on, let the record show, April 21st, at 7 o'clock, special meeting.
All right, thank you.
If it's rainy, I can be here.
Next item on the agenda is the garden plot program. Just wanted to highlight this year's garden plot program. Our maintenance team has prepared the 20 by 20 plots at both Elm Street Green and Heritage Trail Park. So this program opens annually the day after the March Park Board meeting. So tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., there will be the online reservation process beginning. So we look forward to welcoming our gardeners in April. That exact date will be determined based on the weather. So we do look forward to adding a new water line out at Heritage Trail Park so that we can have water service at two ends of those plots. So that project should be coming forth in the next couple of months. So just wanted to highlight that program this evening for you all. Next, we have the recreation and maintenance softwares. The park system has been exploring tools to make us more efficient out in the field, to provide better record keeping, as well as have more reportable data that we can pull from our operations. So I've been working with both of our directors to identify the best suited program for our operations, and I'll invite each of them up to discuss the two packages. So first up, Greg will talk about Maintain X, which is a work order system for our operations.
Good evening again. So Maintain X is what's known as a computerized maintenance management system. So basically, it's a cloud-based system that gives us the ability to create and track work orders electronically through either an online desktop dashboard or through a mobile app. So through that, we'll be able to create preventative maintenance work orders that'll give us the ability to add checklists in there. You can put plans, schematics, photos, and then track the time of what's taken to complete it, resources, assets, consumables that are used in that. And also we'll be able to do reactionary work orders. So if Jared and I were to come across something in the park that we think that needs to be fixed or taken care of, we can enter it right in there. We have the ability to take a picture of it if we want to. We can draw on that picture, and, to give the staff the idea of the team what needs to be fixed. And all the software keeps track of all this time. So gives us the ability to pull reports at the end of the season or the end of the day, so we can see where we're spending our time, what kind of assets are taking a lot of time, what kind of consumables we can use. I mean, we could set up as far as to have the maintenance guys enter every time he uses the trash bag. And then at a certain point, when we get to a certain amount used, it'll tell us that we need to order them, but also show how many dollars we're spending every year on just trash bags in our parks, that kind of stuff. And what amenities are spending the most amount of time, maintenance dollars, or where our workers are at through the day. So that's basically the gist of the program. Anybody has any questions about it, or?
So it's an efficiency program.
It's efficiency, but it also allows us to track. So right now, so for me, for my workers every day, week, I produce kind of like a project list based outside their daily maintenance tasks and routines that are established by our policies. And so it's kind of like, I'll go through our binders to find out what needs to be done every month or what's on my Outlook calendar that Jared's talked to me about completing. So I'm pulling through a bunch of different areas, whereas now I can just set up preventive maintenance work order. Like I know every morning that from May 15th through September 15th that somebody has to go to Mulberry Field and start up the splash pad. And here's a checklist of everything they need to check. And it'll create that every morning. And I can set it to assign to a certain individual. And they can go through and check that off. So then I can pull up and look through it. If there was an issue, like one of the systems wasn't working, they can mark that on there and it'll send me a notification saying that we need to repair it or something like that. Or simply as I could set it to have each trail system inspected every other week or once a month, whatever. And they can go through and they can, if they find damage on the asphalt, they could take a picture in there. That'll report that back to me. So then I know I need to contract somebody to come out and repair that asphalt instead of just relying on word of mouth. They may see it, take a picture and forget to tell me about it, for a week or something like that. So it'll just streamline our operations and just make us more efficient and be more preventative and less reactionary in our.
Do we have anything like this now?
No.
Have you used this before?
I have at other agencies, similar programs, and it's extremely helpful. Just pulling data, finding out reports, but just keeping up with maintenance. So you know what needs to be done, what's not being done. Just helps with accountability too. So you can see where people are at if they haven't finished their tasks for the day when they go home, or what we need to do, working on the next day when they come in.
So in your view, this is a user-friendly system?
It's very user-friendly. It's app-based. It's really simple to use. You can create work orders on your app or on the desktop. There's an unlimited amount of requesters. So like all of you could have an account if you wanted to. You would be a requester. You go out there, you see something, then it'll go to administrator. That will be me and Jared. We can either deny that or send it on, or give you a response or modify it. And then our parks team our maintenance team will be full users. So they'll have the ability to create their own work order. So if they're out and they come across something that needs to be fixed, they can create the work order right there and capture that work and do it. And we'll have that data later going on instead of them fixing it and maybe not telling me about it or reporting it back to me. Right now, I have them keep a daily log based on their hours spent and where they're at in time. And I just kind of go back through that and build my reports and add it into the computer. So I have that information, but it'll just streamline. It'll save me a lot of time and Jared a lot of time.
So is your staff aware of this? And if so, are they on board?
They are aware of it. Some of them are on board.
It
will take a little bit of commitment.
Or do they have to use their own device for it, or do you give them a device?
Yeah, they will use their own cell phones.
And do we compensate them for that, or are they?
They are not compensated at this time for that.
So what if they don't have a device? Does everybody have one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So currently, we're utilizing text messages and phone calls throughout the day. So this is an opportunity to organize all that and have a culture change so that we're all using the same system at the same time.
Change is hard.
Yeah, it'll take a little to get used to spending that time, but
Yeah.
it's not any different than having them write it down now and reporting it back to me. I think they'll begin to like it once they get used to doing
So
it.
when would this go into effect?
If it gets approved tonight, tomorrow we'll start moving forward with it.
I think it'd be helpful if you came back in a month or two and gave us an update on how well it's
I
going.
definitely will. So there'll be a lot of building out. They'll help to come, the maintenance will help us like load some of our checklists and different information into the system already, but there'll be a lot of building out of the work orders. So, I mean, realistically, it's going to take me, and Jared, 3 or 4 months to really get the work orders built out and be some adjustments as far as the preventative maintenance goes on that side.
Why don't we say at our July meeting, let's make a note, July meeting, come back and give us an update on how it's working. Is that fair? That's 4 months. Okay.
There aren't any legal issues for requiring them to use their own devices for this, are there?
No, I mean, not if they're utilizing them right now for communication. I mean.
And is it
conversations-
gonna like require them to use their data, and does everybody have like unlimited data? This comes up when we tried to implement this kind of program at the library, so
So
it's just fun to try.
yeah, the town is already utilizing our time card system. And there's an
Okay.
app associated with that, so employees can download that and track their time. So this is part of that same use.
Okay.
What's the
Look
license?
forward to
What's the price and what budget line are you using?
Thank you, Greg. So this will come out of our contractual services, but for the year package, it's a 1-year commitment. It is $3,000 and $3,081. So a fantastic price. We did preview many packages, which were much more expensive. And this is the best fit, which we can incorporate into our operations.
So it's an annual fee.
Yeah, so after 1 year, if we don't like it, and we can discontinue this, get our data back and look for a new provider. So we have vetted this with our IT department as well. So ultimately, as we create these work order systems and begin to get this data, not only is it going to improve our efficiencies, but we're going to have better record keeping of exactly how much maintenance goes into every half mile of trail. And we'll know exactly how many trash bags we're using at this park or this park and begin to identify those trends, just to have a better accountability of our actual budget dollars.
And is there any other legal pitfall that might come into play?
No, not that I can see. I mean, Jared and I have talked about this, and there were some terms in here that we negotiated with MaintainX, particularly, we took out the auto renewal, just so this expires in 12 months. And so you can reevaluate at that time and don't inadvertently end up signing on for another year. But yeah, I think it's fine. It's important.
Any other questions? Comments? Do you have something to say?
I was just going to say the other addition was the change from 30-day payment period to 45 to better reflect our park board meetings.
Any other questions? Well, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we accept this contract and put this into play. And we'll see Greg back here in July to get a read on how well it's working. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Sarah Moore seconds, and now let's take a vote. Jill Pack,
Aye.
John Wallenberg.
Aye.
John Salowitz,
Aye.
Sarah Moore,
Aye.
Tim Cassidy,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. Unanimously passes. All right, Jared.
All right, moving on to the recreation side of our software updates. So the department has been utilizing the OpenGov suite, not only in our financial reporting, but also in our programming registrations. So this is more of a financial package with permit application capabilities. So the Parks Department has been utilizing that permit application templates to create our programming that the community has been signing up for the past year. So we were kind of the pioneers of using this software, and ultimately there's better services out there that's more customer friendly to our community, makes signing up for programs easier, and we can incorporate all of our programs throughout the year into that single system. So similar to Amazon, you create an account and then you can put your items into the basket. So to talk a little bit more about that, we have Mindy over here to not only talk about the forward-facing side, but also behind the scenes, how it'll improve our rec department. So Mindy Burdock. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I will say it actually is a little more convoluted than just OpenGov, because we also use the town's website has an activity portal to it through Civic Plus. So for a majority of our programming, that is actually what we use. So people can register and sign up for our programs, but it also makes it very challenging for my staff to make sure that they have authorization to get in there to pull up their rosters. And there's also, if they sign up for, like we had our homeschool that has a fee to it. If they sign up for that, there's no way to actually pay for it. Versus if they go through OpenGov, then they can pay for it. But we've heard multiple times from just the general public that it's just not a user friendly for them when they're trying to sign up for programs. The other aspect of this one kind of goes with, I think our Amanda will be happy with this one as well, is that the parks pages on the website are growing exponentially. And it's kind of hard to try to get all that information organized where not just the staff, but just the individual that's trying to find either a special event or summer camps, or how do I register for the dog park? Where is that within the town's website? Just because our pages have like grown and then they have drop downs in between pages and just it goes a little above and beyond. So we're looking at a program called MyRec, which is actually a software that was started by recreation department professionals that again had the same problem of trying to find a rec software that would function for all the different things that Parks and Rec throws at a community. The nice thing with this one on the forward facing side, so the side the public would see, is we actually get our own dedicated website. And so we would have a link from the town's website to this one. And we can work with MyRec and making it very unique for us. So this is just one of a park district that I pulled out because it had a lot of similar things to what we have, but that uses MyRec, but we'll be able to use our own color scheme for the town of Zionsville, use our own pictures, our own logo, and then we can populate what we would like to see as far as, what we would want to have on our homepage, what facilities and build out, our different facilities that we have in the parks, just general info where we can put events, how to contact, so we can put all of our contact information for the Parks Department there, and then how to register for different programs, and even breaking those programs out by, you can see here where they have camps, they've got, we can do memberships, so they have like pool punch passes and dog park permits right there. Nature Center, they actually have one for this park district where it has its own Nature Center page that you can go to, as well as, again, if there's any kind of registration for a special event, or if we started to get into more sports or rec based in that form, or if we ended up in the future having something like a community center where we could add that into this as well. On the back side of it, some benefits to having the software is, one, everything would be in one place. So, people would be able to, when they go in and they try to register, it's going to ask them to set up an account. But once they have their account, they're set, and they can make a family account so that they can put everybody in their family under their account. And what that allows them to do is that when they go to register for a program, they click the one they might be into, or they log in and they look at all the programs that are offered, and they just select their family members. So as soon as they've set up their account, they can just go in and say, well, these kids programs, I want to sign up my 2 kids for this and me for this one. And then it keeps track of everything. So if they're not sure what they signed up for the month, it gives them an actual family calendar that they can look and see what they have coming up for the month for them. We can also send them email reminders that they have a program. If they haven't paid for something, it'll send a reminder that they have a due amount on their account that they have to pay for, like a summer camp that they haven't paid for. But then it also, the nice thing with that is once they register in their family, it keeps track of that. So if they register their son and he's 8, 2 years down the line, now he's 10, and they try to register them for a camp that they have to be, 8 years old to do it, it's not going to let them. So it kind of keeps track of those age, grade, whatever we might put as. It also has that potential for us that one thing we can do is import Zionsville. So for some of our fees for like camps and things, we have a resident and a non-resident rate. And so when they put in their address, it will automatically know if they're a resident or a non-resident for Zionsville. So we don't have to rely on someone telling us, yes, I'm a resident, or no, I'm not a resident, to make sure that they're paying the correct fee for the correct program. On our end, the nice thing for my staff is that we can easily set them up that they can go in for any of the programs that they're actually leading, and to pull out rosters where they can email participants, but they can also pull up that roster the day of, and instead of printing a paper form, they can electronically click that people have showed up for their program, and that then is stored into the system itself. So then I can go in there at the end of the month and can pull up attendance reports, revenue reports, anything that we might want to see what's going on in the programs that we have. So
Are we going to capture financial information or credit card information?
We do not. I'm trying to remember how so the credit card, are we doing authorized? So the credit card system, they will use, so MyRec goes through authorized.net. And I think there's a way that they can store that through authorized.net, but MyRec does not hold onto that, and we do not hold onto the credit card information.
And who's going to be the webmaster of this, or the controlling authority? Would that be you?
Probably.
Yeah.
Or consents and waivers or dog vaccination records. Also
Yeah, so
handled
all
via
of this is that they have some forms, but we can also build individual forms so that when they go to register, those forms would come up for them to electronically sign and complete. And then again, it's stored within their account. They can always go back in and see what waiver forms did I fill out, what vaccinations do I already have. So.
Be great. Great. Anybody have any comments or questions?
Cost?
Yep, so this one's gonna save us a couple dollars from Greg's. This one is $2,995 for the year. So again,
Great.
extremely affordable softwares that we were able to identify.
And that's not gonna contract with it either. It's renewable every year.
Well, we have not finalized the legal review and negotiations on this one yet. So if you want to move forward with it, I would make it subject to legal review. But that's one thing that we'll make sure
Okay.
isn't in there.
I'll be very happy to not have to use OpenGov to sign up for anything, since that was not fun at all.
That is the consensus we've heard. So this will be a single interface, like Mindy mentioned, between one-stop shop, integrated payments, and then we'll get to have better reporting on the backside.
Are any other park systems that you know using this one?
In Indiana, there's a few, not as many. Some of the bigger, well-known, larger rec ones seem to be the ones that most go for. And we did talk with a few of them, but the cost was substantially more for really not having too much difference in what they were offering.
Did you talk to anybody that does use this?
Not personally.
Okay. But have you tried it out? Did you get a trial?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
we were able to go in both on the front end and the back end and play with the system. I
Great.
sent it to all my staff, made them play with it. They all seemed to enjoy it.
Any other comments or questions? And do we have a motion
I'll make a
to,
motion that we purchase the software.
subject to legal review?
Yes.
Sarah Moore makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Tim Cassidy seconds. Let's take a roll call vote. Jill Pack,
I,
John Wallenberg,
Aye.
John Salowitz,
Aye.
Sarah Moore,
Hi.
Tim Cassidy,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. All right, Jared. Thanks, Mindy.
The next item on the agenda is the 2022 spring grant opportunities.
Okay.
So this year in the department, we began to look in some new locations for potential grant dollars, and we were able to identify two that could fit the upcoming trail widening project. So the first of those is a maintenance fund within the American Trails Fund. So the Trails Move People Coalition fund this grant opportunity to assist with maintenance projects within a rail or a trail system. So immediately what came to mind is our erosion control project within the rail trail widening. So as you recall, last fall, we entered into agreement with BLN to take a study of the rail trail corridor that most frequently floods, specifically just north of Mulberry and Ford near the Methodist Church. So that study has been going on, and they've developed a erosion control solution. So utilizing a portion of the Zionsville United Methodist Church field to slow the water as it comes towards our rail trail, and then ultimately a pipe and drop device that slows the water and properly channels it within our existing corridor to get it down to the stormwater. So within this grant, we're requesting $15,000 to fund the pipe and some of the dirt work involved in that project. So with your approval, we will submit that application and provide supporting documentation to the budget, as well as the narrative as it fits into the larger rail trail widening project. We have received a letter of support from the Methodist Church, and I believe the chamber is also going to write one for us. So just speaking to how the rail trail is a component of Zionsville life.
Any questions?
No.
This fix is a part of the widening project.
This erosion.
Is it included in the construction document? I mean, our project that we're getting ready to bid out?
Yeah, so we, again, luck with the timeline. BLN was finalizing their report right as we were still working on the construction documents. So we're going to fold those right in, have all of our permits in hand as we begin bidding this project out.
And this particular component of the project, it'll be more than 15,000 total? So
Yeah,
this 15,000 is to offset some of the
Yes.
costs?
So this component of it was approximately 89,000 for this solution. So this would fund a portion of that and specifically the pipes and some of the other parts of it.
Okay.
So there's no match requirement, but we will write in the total budget just so they understand the scope of the project.
Any other comments or questions? Do we have a motion to go ahead and apply for this grant?
Make a motion to apply for the grant.
We have a motion from John Salowitz. Do we have a second?
Second.
Tim Cassidy seconds. All right, let's take a vote. Jill Pack,
Aye.
John Wallenberg,
Aye.
John Salowitz.
Aye.
Sarah has stepped out. I guess we'll put her down as an abstain then. And Tim Cassidy,
Aye.
I say aye as well. The motion carries.
Thank you. The next grant opportunity is with AARP. So pickleball is becoming a sport that is taking over the country by storm. And a large portion of that population that are playing pickleball are actually our 50 and up community. I believe it's right around 30%. So this felt like the perfect project to pair with an AARP grant. So we're proposing that $20,000 of the AARP community grants program be utilized for the pickleball courts as a part of the rail trail widening project. So again, no matching required, but we would illustrate the entire budget of the pickleball courts, as well as the impact they can have on this community as a new amenity. So one of the only requirements of this would be to have a sign with AARP as a funding partner in this, and then maybe a social media post. I'm not sure, but it was fairly non-invasive for this requirement. So with your approval, I'd like to also apply for an AARP grant for $20,000 to help fund the pickleball courts, pending legal review.
Yeah. Any questions or comments?
Like a sign on site, like on the court?
Probably on the fence. Yep.
They won't have a sign that says no kids allowed.
Like not on the court floor, like ARP. on the-
There won't be a big logo now.
Just making sure.
Any other comments or questions? Do we have a motion to give the go-ahead to apply for this grant pending legal review?
I will make the motion to apply for the AARP pickleball grant.
We have a motion from John Wallenberg. Do we have a second?
Second?
Is that Jill? Jill Pack seconds. Let's take a roll call vote. Jill Pack,
Aye.
John Wallenberg.
Aye.
John Salowitz.
Aye.
Sarah Moore.
Aye.
Tim Cassidy.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Passes unanimously. All right, Jared.
All right, and the final grant opportunity of the evening is the DNR Lair Grant. So we are actually already awarded this grant with the DNR for $46,710.64. That was early 2021. So the Lair Grant, Zionsville has a long history of working with the DNR to improve the Eagle Creek corridor along Starkey Park. So you might have noticed the riprap and the log jams that have been installed over previous projects. So last year we wrote an RFP to take a new look at the creek now that we own Overly Warman Park as well, and identify areas that need correcting with erosion control measures. So ultimately, we're trying to improve the water quality of Eagle Creek, as well as retain and protect our bank shorelines on Starkey and Overly Warman. So we did release an RFP, as I mentioned, and we received two firms, of which I would recommend Cardno, who can complete the project beginning this month and should wrap up around January 2023, which would be just in time for the next round of layer grant funding. So once complete, we'll have an updated study of the hydrology of Eagle Creek. It'll also take a look at the 2 remaining Starkey Park erosion control projects that were identified in the previous report, which was from 2016, so about getting up there in age. And also identify new parks or new projects along Overly Warman shoreline and a cost associated with those projects. So truly an updated study that we can use for every cycle of DNR grant funding moving forward. So to enter into a contract with Cardno pending legal review, their project was quoted at $37,400 with an opportunity of in-kind work on our behalf that would save us $3,740. So this project was able to come in below the estimate we developed with the DNR grant a year ago. So that's fantastic. Again, this is an 80-20 match. So our contribution, when it's all said and done, would just be approximately around $9,000, again, with that opportunity for in-kind savings. So it's a great program that we've partnered with the DNR with for years.
We get a lot of bang for our bucks in this kind of project.
Absolutely.
All right, does anybody have any comments or questions? No? Do we have a motion then to go ahead and apply for the layer grant?
Award the Cardno contract.
Award the Cardno
Yes.
contract pending legal review. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Tim Cassidy makes a motion. Do we have a second? John Wollenberg seconds. Jill Pack.
Aye.
John Wollenberg.
Aye.
John Salowitz.
Aye.
Sarah Moore.
Aye.
Tim Cassidy.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Now let's go on to old business, and if you don't have anything new, and then I have some things for the board related items after that.
All right. Absolutely. So the first item of old business is the Rail Trail Southern Extension, which started last fall and was delayed because of a water line that was discovered from 1937 that was still in use. So the project did pick up once that water line was rerouted with citizens and has been underway ever since. So they are pouring the abutments for the Starkey Avenue Bridge. And once those abutments cure, they'll be able to place the deck and we'll be able to reopen Starkey Avenue Road. So still anticipating a spring 2022 opening on that, but the exact date is not nailed down just yet. But every day they are making progress on those abutments. The other item of old business is the Starkey SP3 staircase. The aluminum handrails were installed since our last update, and that project has had a walkthrough and sign off. So HIS has completed that project pending final grading and reseeding that they'll complete as the weather gets a little bit better. So we'll keep that closed for a little bit to allow that seed to take hold, and then we'll reopen with a new dog-friendly staircase out at Starkey Park.
Right. That looks great, by the way. It really is going to make such a big difference there.
Absolutely.
And is it blocked right now so people can't use it?
Yeah, it is blocked so that the seed has an opportunity to begin to take hold. Otherwise, we're afraid erosion and just the mud that's out there, it's not a good recipe right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a need to keep it closed pending seed? I mean, it's difficult to go down that on, outside of the stairs or to have your pet go down. You're just being are you being more careful than you need?
Absolutely. So the stairs are complete, but it is such a mess. And with the decline to get down to the stairs, it doesn't seem worth the risk of falling and getting muddy or worse. So we're keeping it closed until there's an opportunity for that seed to start to germinate.
So it's the area along the trail to get to the top of the stairs, and at the bottom of the stairs, that's the concern?
Yes,
Not along the side. Okay. I thought it was,
Yep.
you were worried about.
So SP3 is still open, although less dog friendly for getting down to the lower sections.
All right. Anything else under old business?
That's all for me.
Okay. I have a couple of.
Could I, golf course, were you going to cover the golf course?
Yeah,
It wasn't listed here, but it's probably in that category of old business. And Mike had said Trish was gonna.
So we are in constant contact with the contractor citywide out at the golf course. And truly the moment that we get a spell of good weather, they're going to get on site and finish the prep work for the asphalt laying. You know, ultimately we were drying out pretty well before Monday's, the weekend's rain. So there actually is a relief pipe for Eagle Creek that empties into the golf course. So seasonally, every spring, we do accumulate quite a bit of water down there. So like Mike mentioned, we have purchased additional pumps to continue to move that water off site, hoping to dry it out that much sooner and get citywide back out there.
Are you confident we have an understanding with the contractor as to what is too wet or not? I mean, again, when they accepted this project, I mean, yeah, it's floodplain. I mean, they knew that. So, and they gave us some assurances as to timing. So, you know, again, I understand we want it done right, so I don't want a bad path put in, but do we have a understanding with them about what is too wet or not?
We have been in constant contact, trying to speak with them, and we're all in agreement that this is their first priority for the year. So again, to the exact saturation of the course, I don't know that we've discussed that, but at the same time, we do want to minimize our impact once they get back out there. So exceptionally soggy is going to rut it up and do more damage. So making sure that they know when it is appropriate to get back out there, that we are the first thing on their list is our goal. So as we get a little bit later into the season, you know, we hope to get a firmer timeline to give out to the community. But at this point, every weather event shifts that timeline a little further.
So there is a chance that the course will have to close if it opens to get these.
I don't think it can open until the paths are done. So I'm just afraid that the contractor will always say, you know, it rains, that it's always too wet till July. So,
yeah.
And I don't know if that's reasonable or not.
I don't think at
It's
that
not
point
my
that's
call,
reasonable. Yeah.
really.
Because I can't imagine they would wait until July to work on other projects. So we need to remain their first priority. And if they can't do that, then we'll find another construction company to complete the project.
As always, there's a lot of anticipation for the golf course opening, and
absolutely,
we want to get open on opening day if possible, or as close to it if we can.
So we are excited to welcome the course back. Mike talked about some of the opportunities we have to update other features on the course, and we are looking forward to welcoming Zionsville back.
Yep. All right. Any other?
I have one. I may have missed it. I had to take a call, but do you have an opening date for Overly Warman?
Overly Warman, the anticipated opening is still within next month, April 2022. So we are moving forward with that target. And as we get a little bit closer, we will begin to communicate out the ribbon cutting.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, well, I do have a couple of board related items that I wanted to talk about here. First of all, Sarah, I tried to call you today. I didn't get you, but you're our liaison to the Pathways Committee. And I know the Pathways Committee has been somewhat active. So I'd like to, in the next board meeting, for you to give us a report. Can you do that on the activities of the Pathways Committee?
Yeah, I can absolutely do that.
Okay. So we'll add that to the agenda for next meeting on April 13th. Also, emails. For those of you who are not making use of your Zionsville branded email, I would encourage you to reach out to Joe Rust, because why don't we give it one more month using your personal emails? After that, all communication has to go through the Zionsville branded email account, so we can be in the compliance that Amy is asking us to be in compliance with. So everybody got that? Awesome. The next thing, you might notice that Erin is not with us tonight. Erin has tendered her resignation. Her job has become much more busy and taking more of her time, so she feels that she can't be a good active board member. So she has tendered her resignation, and I'm told by Amy that we need to accept that resignation. So we're going to have to take a vote on that. So why don't we go ahead and do that right now? We'll do it as do we need a roll call to do that, or can we just do it by voice vote?
You can just do it by voice vote.
All right, so everybody who is willing to accept Erin's resignation from the board, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and no one forced her to do this. This was her own volition. She just is awfully busy and not able to carry out the responsibilities. She's the appointee of the school board. The school board is meeting next week, and we hope to have a nominee in front of the school board next week. So we should be able to get this board seat filled by our next meeting in April. We're going to try very hard to make sure that happens, and so we have somebody in that seat. Also, before you leave tonight, please sign the claims after we approve the claims, but please sign the claims and sign the minutes from the previous meeting so we can keep up to date on our paperwork. Do you have those ready?
Yep.
Awesome. So please do not leave this room until you see Jared to do that. All right. Anything else anybody wants to talk about board related? Nope. Okay. So claims. Does anybody have any comments to make on claims or any questions about the claims? Do we have a motion to approve the claims?
I move we approve claims as submitted.
We have a motion from Tim to approve the claims as submitted. Do we have a second?
A second?
Jill Pack, seconds. So let's take a roll call vote on that. Jill Pack,
Aye.
John Willenberg.
Aye.
John Salowitz,
Aye.
Sarah Moore,
Aye.
and Cassidy.
Aye.
I say aye as well. So there we go. We're all set with that. Anything else that anybody wants to talk about before we adjourn? Do we have a motion to adjourn the
Make a
meeting?
motion to adjourn.
John Salowitz makes a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Yes, I second.
Tim Cassidy seconds. We're going to do this by acclamation. Do we all approve that it's time to adjourn the meeting? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll see you back here on April 13th. And don't forget to make a note of our special meeting on the night of April 21st at 7 o'clock in this room. Thank you very much. Good night.